Bubba, thank you for joining us. You played a big part behind the scenes in 2016 with a Team USA victory. How special is it to be back in that team room as a player?
It's very special. You know, as a golfer, you want to make the team events, and then when you realize how special the team events are, you want to be there no matter what. And so for me to be there for the guys, for the people that I appreciate, look up to, in 16, it was a dream for me to be able to help take care of 12 guys, plus the 4 assistants and captains. So it was a dream come true. It was an honor and a privilege. But obviously, if you're going to ask anybody, you'd rather be playing than working. And so I'm glad to be back, and what a thrill and an honor to be part of it again. And knowing the trust that I got from 16, they can still bump ideas and ask me questions, even though I am a player this time instead.
You enjoy that first-tier atmosphere more than most. Almost 7,000 people are going to be out there Friday morning. How much are you looking forward to that?
I'm looking forward to it. It's amazing. I've been told that I can't get the crowd to rev up, though, because it's an iron off the tee. It's a lot easier when it's a driver off the tee. But this whole, this is a different golf course, different setup. And so this is going to be one that you're not going to, I don't want to get revved up trying to hit a bullet off the tee and fat it, 20 yards down the fairway. So I don't want to do that. So they told me I can't do it this time.
Thank you very much, Bubba. We're going to go to the floor. We'll start with Tim on the left with mic number 3. Just away.
Hey, Bubba, is the glove because you got some sort of sinus infection going, or you don't want to, never saw what we were talking about?
Every time we have a team event, there's people that you got to say so many words, or you got to do something, we'll say dumb. So I said I got to wear my glove the whole interviews. So I'm doing it. Yeah, I thought this might be dirty, so if I hold it, I could be like that. There's no bet. It's just got to have something to do. Golf gets boring after a while, so like Justin said, a long year. We're all pretty tired, as you can tell. My voice, I'm exhausted. A lot of us were kind of getting sick. Gosh, I almost say not quite half the field last week had something, and then traveling all the way over here, we're all battling something. Yep.
Okay, we're going to go to Karen up the front here, and mic number 1.
Bubba, what did you learn while serving as an assistant captain that could maybe help you as a player?
It's funny. I'm going to answer it differently at first, but I learned that the team was a lot better without me as a player. I've never won one, but as a vice captain, we won, so I'm taking it that I helped win. As a player, you see what the captain needs. When you're sitting in with 5 guys trying to pick a lineup, who are you going to pair? Why are you going to pair them together? All these thoughts, and when I show up to an event and say I only want to play with one guy, right? That limits the captain, because if you only practice with one guy with a certain ball or a certain attitude or certain personality, it limits you. Now, if you're like me, with a few meds in you right now, trying to get healthy, it doesn't help the captain, right? Because if I say I don't have any energy, now that guy that I've been practicing with is like, well, now who am I going to get paired with? So you're limiting, you're hurting the captain or the team that way. And so that's what I see the difference is that, you got to give them a couple options that some guys you really like to play with or some guys you really don't want to play with, just because of personality types or whatever it is, whatever that reason is.
Okay, we're going to go to mic 2 in the middle here with you.
Bubba, how has your week in France been as a cultural experience, and how do you reflect on your first time when you were here?
Gosh, I love it. This is a beautiful place. The first time I was ever here, my wife played professional basketball in south of France. Love it. I've been here a few times because of Richard Mille, the watch company that I represent. I've been here a few times with him and his fascination with cars, his car collection. And so being here with the watch company and being around here, it's a beautiful place. It's high fashion. It's Fashion Week. So I don't look like I dress. I wear T-shirts all the time, but I have some high fashion in my closet. I just don't ever bust it out.
But there were some pretty highly publicised comments at the time. How do you reflect on that? Some of the things that were said then and all these years
it was like was it 11? I don't know when I was here. It was like 10 or 11. Was it 11? 11. We'll say 11. I don't know. It was sad because none of it was true. Me and my team, my manager, my wife, my caddy, and my trainer therapist at the time, we went on Segway tour. It was actually funny. Last night we went and ate this little restaurant in the Palace grounds. And I remember falling off my Segway on the Segway tour. We went on a bike tour and a Segway tour. And I remember falling off my Segway right there. And I told the team, I said, there's where I fell off the Segway and kind of made a fool of myself. No, it was sad that people wrote or took my comments or whatever I did, because I don't really remember it so long ago. But it was sad that they did that because I loved it. I've always loved it. I love traveling. I mean, that's why I've played around the world. It's because I love it. I love seeing different cultures. And so obviously, Richard Mille respects me enough to sign me to wear his watches. He has a lot of love for me, and he understands that sometimes the media takes it a different way than it meant to be. So it was sad, but I learned from it. It made me mature as a person and understand that I got to be more mature and more careful how I word things. Hopefully, I worded all that right.
Going to go to number 1 over here on the right.
Hi, Bubba. Just a quick question. Please excuse my ignorance, but I didn't quite understand the significance of the glove. Are you wearing it as a forfeit? Is that
forfeit?
Or have I? Yeah. Have I misunderstood?
Just being done with the team. It's like there's certain guys, I'm not going to say who, had to say certain words in their interviews, and who knows if they've said them. I don't know. I was the glove guy, so I don't know.
We're going to go to number 4. Number 4 down the back.
Hi, Bubba. As I'm sure you know, it's 25 years since the US won the Ryder Cup here in Europe. What does that say about the difficulty, the challenge of winning away from home, and what would it mean to you guys to finally break that drought?
Well, obviously, as we've seen our sports in the United States, the home team in basketball or the home team in baseball or football, always, it seems like they have the advantage, right? Because their crowd, their facilities, all their stuff, right? And Europe has an event here every year. So there's always an advantage of that, just being at home, or maybe not quite home, but it is home soil, I guess you'd say. For us to win it, any time to win it is a dream come true, and to win it, like you said, after 25 years, what a thrill. For me, I've never won one as a player, so it'd be a thrill of a lifetime. Here, there, doesn't matter where it is. It would just be a thrill of a lifetime for that little trophy. That's all we're playing for. We're not playing for money or anything. We're playing for pride. And so, and then obviously Phil, Tiger, these guys, they haven't won over here, I don't think, ever. So it'd be a dream to be a part of that. I mean, they're legendary careers, to be there with them and, be a part of that. I'm pretty sure Tiger and Phil would start crying if they did win. And I'll probably cry too. So.
We're going to go to mic 1 on the right here.
Bubba, what are you expecting from the home crowd this week? And is that something you've spoken about as a group, how to cope with the increased noise pressure of being away for a Ryder Cup? We
haven't really spoke much about the crowd. The pressure is all we really talked about. This is bigger than any event we've played, really, because of the pride. This is all about pride for us. This is not about getting a bigger check or anything like that. This is just about pride. And, the crowd over here has always been amazing. They understand tough shots. They understand a 30-footer sometimes from 200 yards is a great shot. And so they've been appreciative of us every time I've ever played in an event over here, and especially in a team event like this. So I don't expect any different. They pull for their people. They pull for their team. But they applaud us and cheer us and appreciate great golf shots because they understand the game so well.
Okay, we're going to go 3 and then 1. 3 first.
You can hear in your voice that you're not very well.
Yeah, thank you.
Has it actually spread through the American locker room? And do you know if it's
affected the European guys that were in the States last week?
It was just there was a few guys that aren't over here and guys that are over here. It kind of started through the locker room last week. There's only 30 guys, but so I happen to get it. I got a weak immune system, so.
Are there more members of the team here that are struggling?
I could care less about them. I'm trying to get me healthy.
Okay,
I know what you're trying to develop, but.
we're kind of good at number one again.
Yes, Bubba. What do you think about the golf course, and how does it set up you being one of the bombers out here? And they've always said it's a good long hitters course.
I don't know who said that, but no, it's one of those golf courses where you're going to have a lot of ball placement. So whatever that club is, it won't be driver. It'll be a lot of irons, a lot of woods off the tees. We're all going to place it pretty much the same area and try to attack from there. It's the second shot is where you would try to attack and you have a birdie opportunity. It's not going to be the way this rough is kind of mown towards you or cut towards you. You've got to hit the fairways, and so even if you're a long way away, but in the fairway, that's better off than being in the rough way down there. And so I think both teams, a lot of irons, a lot of woods off the tee, hybrids, whatever you want to call it, off the tees, trying to get in position.
Karen, number 3.
Since you mentioned crying, you've been known to shed a tear or two, but Tiger's been known as a pretty stoic person.
Really?
You know him as well as anyone. What was it like for you to see his display of emotion on Sunday on that 18th hole?
Oh, it was amazing to see. He's worked hard. He's a legend. Even if he would have never came back, he's a legend. Great for the game. Still grows the game. Even if when he wasn't playing, we still talked about him how much he was doing for the game. And so, knowing what he wanted to do just for himself. It's not about any of us sitting here today. It's just for himself. And like he said, it's a miracle that he's able to play and play at a high level and play with the speed and energy that he has. So I would have been more upset if he didn't show emotion. I'd have definitely texted him. I only get his number during team events. He blocks me during the regular part of the season because I send him dumb texts. But so it's always nice leading up to the event knowing that I'm on the team so I can get his number. But no, to see that emotion, it showed how passionate he is about the game of golf and what the game of golf means to him. And like he said, even if he didn't win, it's been an amazing year. And then to top it off, you couldn't write a better story. You couldn't make a movie like that. It would be a fictional movie if you'd have said that he's going to come so close and then the last one of the year he's going to win. You'd be like, well, this movie's boring. But it's true. I mean, it's real life, and that's really what happened. And it's quite remarkable to see that. And I was glad to see the emotion because it just showed the human side of him and how much the game means to him.
I'm going to go to mic number 1 in the middle.
Bubba, on the spectrum of artists versus scientists, I would say you're more the artist. What do you make of Bryson DeChambeau and the more scientific approach to getting the ball around the golf course?
It's quite funny. I played with him today and played with him in a different light. Today is just shooting the breeze, practicing a golf course. So I got to talk to him differently than in competition, right? And so we actually, I know it's not going to sound right, but we actually go about it the same way. He's looking at something and looking at the numbers, trying to get the exact numbers, how to create a shot. He's very feel oriented. It's just he's talking about the numbers and he's looking at the numbers. I'm looking at the ground. I'm looking at the obstacles in front of me and attacking it that way. But what he said and the questions I was asking him makes 100% right. The things that we were discussing today, like putters and weight of putters and drivers and his team that was with him. I hit a couple drives and they wanted to get the numbers off of Flight Scope and so to get those numbers, and he confirmed some of my things that I've been doing for a long time and it was pretty neat, like the driver shaft. I've been using this driver shaft. True Temper makes it by Matrix. I think it came out in 2001 for the pros, so 2002 for the public. And I've been using it since 2002. I've never changed. Color scheme has changed, but I've never changed the shaft itself. And so he confirmed it on the flight scope, his system that he uses. And he said, this shaft is perfect for you. I said, well, yeah. Won a couple tournaments with it. But no, it was just, you know, he uses a lot bigger words than I would use. I shorten it up. Gets me in trouble sometimes with media. But so it was interesting to see how he goes and attacks it and the way I attack it. It gets to the same point. It's just he uses a lot bigger words than me. But it's pretty impressive to listen and understand it, because I couldn't tell you the definitions of any of these words he was using. But so I tell him to do it to my level, and then we work it out. But it's pretty remarkable to see how he goes about it. But he's a field player. He just feels to numbers, and I feel to a look. Yep.
Bubba, thank you very much. Have a great
thank
week.
y'all. Yep.
Cheers.
Thanks.